Then we'll get started. I think the mic's working. It is. Just give me a second as I think football winds up. I think Bama at Florida is still going on, actually. I should have put that on before. Let's see. Let me get a couple of these. Send this here. Let's send it here. And then let's send it places here before we get started. And let's look at that Bama Florida score. Yeah, Panthers officially lost to the Packers. That's actually a good game. Oh, should put that one on. I'll keep that one updated. But thanks for joining me Saturday night, War Room After Dark. My name's @NotDuckHodges on Twitter. We've already got 3 pretty good games from a fantasy football perspective off, and now let's kind of look at the Sunday night slate, or Sunday slate, see what we got here. I think just kind of scanning, maybe have 5 to 6 maybe to talk about. But if you're watching, you're doing season-long leagues, you're in your semifinals, congratulations. Feel free to send the start-sit questions. But once again, I'm hesitant to try to give you too much advice because you've gotten this far. Don't put it on me to make your final decisions. Hopefully you've had it figured out by now, but good luck to you. Let's start with the Bears at the Vikings. And the reason I really like this one, I think, yeah, David Montgomery is priced up pretty high on DraftKings, and I think people still think he's a pretty good play. But the way the Vikings defense has been trending the last month or so has been actually shutting down the run and letting the secondary run free. And in the last 2 weeks, I think I read they've lost 5 people in the secondary that are contributors. So actually that's the Bears. So I'm sorry, but the Vikings, they're still trying to gel on the back end. And so to me, even though a lot of people would probably still be trying to play David Montgomery, I think Allen Robinson is in a good spot. Trubinsky's been really good for like 3 weeks, and people are probably still going to play him. I don't know if I can get there, but Cole Kmet's in a great spot. I think Jimmy Graham's been ruled out or is basically out. Cole Kmet will probably be one of the most popular tight ends to play. Don't blame anyone. I'll probably be playing a lot of them, to be honest. Don't know if I can get there, but I was saying about 5 people in the secondary being out. That's for the Bears. Um, both Thielen and Jefferson are in great spots for the Vikings. You obviously pair them up with Kirk Cousins. Trying to figure this out with there's so many good running quarterbacks on the slate. Lamar, Kyler Murray, uh, Josh Allen was tonight or earlier today. I know I'm missing a couple, so it's really hard to play. It's like, say, someone like Kirk Cousins is a great spot because he's really not running too much, but I think a sneaky play because a lot of people might be looking at David. They were going to be looking at David Montgomery until Alvin Kamara became the easy play. But I think Robinson or Kmet is in a great spot. And then if you think this game could blow out, then Thielen and Jefferson could also be in a great spot, especially with all those injuries. Dalvin Cook, I really liked him before the Kamara news. And when I say Kamara news, I mean Michael Thomas is out and Drew Brees is playing. So, because I think Kamara is probably the best play. Dalvin's probably like the third or fourth best play now, and obviously with his price, he's one of the most expensive. It's pretty difficult to play him, especially with Derrick Henry there. He's sneaky. Irv Smith's also in a good spot, so Dalvin might miss the cut for me, but I really did like him, and you could probably. I wouldn't blame anyone for getting there. Let's go to one. I'm really want to monitor some injury news for the Texans at Colts. Brandon Cooks is in. Um, the injury news I'm looking for is DeForest Buckner, the defensive tackle for the Colts. The last game he missed was when Derrick Henry ran for 200 yards all over him. They're just a different defense when he's not playing. And so I'm kind of crossing my fingers he's out because I don't think a lot of people will be on it. And maybe with defensive players, like Schefter never like midnight tweets and like breaking news, someone's going to be out because no one really cares. But with Duke Johnson being ruled out too, I think David Johnson's in a great spot. He's not like, obviously he's David Johnson. He hasn't been good for 2 or 3 years. But I really like this spot for him, and I think he's a pretty sneaky play, especially I think he's like 5,000 on DraftKings. He's one of my favorite cheaper plays right now. See how things play out. Looking at the Florida Bama game, it looks like Bama's up 7. They're moving with the ball. Someone keep me updated there. But David Johnson's one of my favorite plays. I think a lot of people would and should be playing Taylor, running back for the Colts. Don't blame anyone there. But Hilton and Pittman are just as in good as spots. And actually, Hilton's just destroyed the Texans throughout his career. So I don't mind that. So I think one of my favorite GPP plays might be going with a David Johnson and then like a Hilton back. And I don't think I'd get to Rivers, but maybe Hilton. And I know their tight ends are hurt. I think it's Mo Alley Cox that's out or Burton, one of the two. Hopefully, I think they're both questionable to doubtful. If they're both out, then Doyle's a great play. And cheap tight ends is the way to go this week. But I think like a Hilton to David Johnson's like a pretty good pivot. And I think that's a good spot to get at there because this is a team total of 50 points. If Buckner's out, if Buckner is in, then I'm not too excited about the Houston squad. Watson can do a lot; he can always score, but it's just hard to really pinpoint there. Another one of my favorite spots this week will be Seahawks at the Washington Footballs. Seahawks favored by about 6. Team total or game totals about 45, so middling. The reason this is one of my favorites is I think everyone kind of has these preconceived notions on what you can do. For the Washington football team, you play Terry McLaurin playing with everyone perceives to be a bad Seattle defense, and then with the Seahawks, they're just going to try to run the ball with Carson, or you just avoid it. But everyone thinks to be playing McLaurin. He's probably going to be one of the more popular players. But if you look at the stats for the last 5 weeks, Seattle's actually like one of the best, maybe even the best against number 1 wide receivers. Dwayne Haskins is in. I don't think it really matters what QB's in, but Dwayne Haskins in doesn't really scare me. So I think the Seahawks defense is a really good spot. I'm really not on McLaurin right now. I think he could easily be shut down. He's still priced pretty expensive. And then flip it over, the Washington football team has been pretty good against the run, but they've been really weak against the pass, and especially number 1 wide receivers. They just don't have an elite corner to match up against anybody. So DK Metcalf, his price, you compare him to Hill. Adams was tonight. I'm trying to think. There's another one around there, but everyone would probably be trying to play Hill. I think DK might be in a sneaky good spot. He's not going to be owned. I'm still trying to figure out if I would want to pair him with Russ or even play Lockett a little bit, but I think this is a sneaky good spot where you could go with the Seattle air attack. And I know Gibson's out, so McKissick maybe just gets us enough for like he's like a low floor play though, to be honest, because it's really hard for him. He doesn't usually get the end zone. He doesn't get the rushing upside. He's okay, maybe. So maybe that's how you go. And even if like if DK goes off, McKissick can still do it just in the passing game. So he's kind of game script proof. So I do like that aspect. But DK is probably one of my favorite plays on the slates. Kamara was, and then it got really popular and Michael Thomas got ruled out. So then that just kind of went down the sink. Everyone's on him. But I think Metcalf is pretty sneaky. Let's see what else we have here. Had a couple other games I want to touch on. Let's see if there's any questions. Not yet, so let's keep going here. Let's go to the Jets at Rams. The reason I selected this, the Rams are favored by 17. I think Cam Akers is going to be one of the more popular plays on DraftKings. He's priced up pretty big, and he's been trending towards getting like 90% of the snaps. So I don't blame anyone for, going that route. But the Jet, in these situations, it's not like I don't even know what sport to compare it to, but it's you can't project, and I think I've said this before. You can't project like a blowout and Goff and Woods and Cup being pulled or anything like that. You just never know what's going to happen. Like sometimes NBA, maybe you can project that, but I try not to bet on blowouts. So the best way to attack the Jets is through the air, and so Goff to Woods or Cup are probably some of my favorite plays, to be honest. Um, and Akers is in a good spot, and he can obviously get there. I mean, the Rams are favored by 17. The Jets aren't going to be able to do anything. So I think the Rams defense and Akers running back's going to be pretty popular. So I think maybe trying to do a Goff to Cup to Woods is a pretty sneaky spot. Everyone's always trying to think how to bring it back, and I've made the mistake like the last 2 or 3 weeks playing Perryman or Mims. I don't think I've played Crowder. But Crowder did good a couple weeks ago, but to me, I'm just not going to bring it back there. I've learned my lesson. This is probably when someone goes off, but I've learned my lesson there. The Eagles at the Cardinals. Cardinals are favored by 6 when I wrote this down. Team total or game totals 50 points. That it's tough. Love Kyler. He's just been so bad, or he's not been bad. He's been mediocre. He hasn't been the Kyler we knew the first 8 weeks. Last month he's been banged up and he hasn't been doing what he's usually been doing. It's tough. The Eagles have lost like 3 people in their secondary. I think Hopkins is in a great spot. I don't know what the Cardinals have to do, and plus Chase Edmonds is questionable to highly doubtful. If he's ruled officially out, I think Kenyon Drake is the play there, and he's been getting the touchdowns anyway. But Kyler, I'm struggling with this one. I think he's in a good spot, but I don't know whether like this matchup works or if this is just kind of how their offense is going back to, and this is how they were last year. They're all flash, but really no production or just moderate production. So I think this is a key game to the slate. If you're betting on, I don't know. And then a lot of people will be on Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders. To me, if I was betting the totals, I'd go the under, just because if either running game kind of gets clicking, it just drains the clock, and you really need both of them to really click to get above 50. So I think this is a pretty good under bet. But I do like Hopkins a lot. I think he'll get his. It doesn't matter if Slay's in or out. And then I do like. Kirk might be a good like GPP play, something sneaky there. It just depends. Uh, yeah, that one's just tough. I'm still trying to figure that one out. If I'm going to pull the trigger on Kyler, I want to, but my gut's telling me they figured him out. He's injured. And I know he had like 13 carries last week, but he still didn't produce. He's just not the same QB we saw at the beginning of the year. And then let's see, I got maybe one more game here. If anyone's got any questions, send them in. The big game I think everyone's going to try to play. It's the last game on the slate. If you're playing the main slate, will be the Chiefs at the Saints. And Drew Brees is back in. Michael Thomas is out. Kamara is in like the best spot. And I think I wrote this up that Alvin in the spot like through weeks 4 through 9 or something like that. I mean, he was like a $9,000 player on DraftKings, and now he's like 7,400. He's like a no-brainer play. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to probably play him in a ton. It's just, can I play him and like Derrick Henry or him and Dalvin Cook? I don't know. I haven't figured that out. I think a lot of people will be hesitant to play like him. Plus, like Emmanuel Sanders is cheap. Cook is cheap, and then obviously Traquan Smith is cheap, all because Michael Thomas is ruled out. So trying to figure that out. Right now. I do love, or I do really like Sanders and probably Jared Cook, and then Traquan Smith. But you can make an argument. The issue, I think, the important thing to try to figure out is the Chiefs here. The Chiefs can score on anybody, so we don't need to evaluate defenses. But the Saints have been like Patriots-esque from last year until they played the Eagles last week. And so I'm trying to figure it out. I think with Drew Brees and Kamara, they can do enough. Like their game is just to death by 1,000 cuts. They move the ball up and down the field very slowly, like 10 play drives. I think the Saints, in essence, can slow this game down. Doesn't mean the Chiefs can't score, but them being like I think Vegas has them at like a 28-point team total. Maybe go the under on the only idea is the Saints are good enough on defense to maybe slow them down. And then on offense, how they run, they're not going to be a quick scoring team. So if they can get up, they can just start milking this clock a little bit by little bit and just kind of slowly march down the field, 5-yard dump offs to Kamara. So the Chiefs, you can make an argument to play, but I might be off of them just in the off chance. Either it's just a slow pace game or the Saints slow them down. Not really sure either way, but I think that's going to be kind of his key. And I saw somewhere today, I think I think a lot of people want to play Mahomes. They want to play Kelsey. They want to play Tyreek Hill. So I think it's a good spot to maybe pivot to, instead of game stacking it, just go the other side or just play Kamara or just ignore it entirely. Maybe they both just kind of go slow off the gates. There's a lot of good games. And then if you were on the Thursday night through Monday night games, hopefully you played some of the higher price people because those games went off. I thought Eckler would do a lot better. That was the only misstep I had, but I had a lot of Moore, had a lot of Beasley, had a lot of Diggs, I had a lot of Josh Allen. Feeling good about that. We'll see what's going on here, but I do think there's some good opportunities with the Bears, Vikings, Texans, Colts, some sneaky stuff, Seahawks, the Washington football team, a lot of stuff that's going to go a lot different than what people expect or the preconceived notion. So I think there's some good leverage there, to be honest. And looks like the Alabama Crimson Tide up 14 with 2 minutes left. So not much there. If anyone has any start-sit questions, get them in. Otherwise, we'll get out of here. Trying to think here. Titans, Lions. I think Stafford's going to play. Derrick Henry's in a good spot no matter what. If I don't even know. A lot of people are just saying like if Stafford plays, like it's a lot better for the game environment. If he's truly hurt, then who knows? So that's tough for me to really know what to do if Chase Daniel's in from South Lake Carroll, Texas. But He's yeah. That I don't know. It's tough to think, but the Lions are just so bad that you could actually go the air. But I don't know if I could get there with just these good running QBs on the slate. But that's just me going through it. I'm trying to think. I mean, Ravens plus or minus 14 are in a really good spot. It just depends what you think they're going to do if the Jaguars can put up a fight. Oh. And then the Sunday night football, Monday night football games, just okay. But I think that will wrap it up for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. My name's at Twitter, not Duck Hodges. Thanks for tuning in. It's War Room After Dark. Check us out, goingfor2.com. Good luck tomorrow. Good luck in the semifinals, and we will see you next week.